I love donuts. I never used to, but now I do. I used to hate how they looked and how they tasted. I used to hate the smell of yeast, but now I don't. Now I love the taste of yeast. In fact, it is one of my favorite tastes in a donut. I love pawpaws. I never used to, but now I do. I used to hate how they looked and how they tasted. I used to hate the color of pawpaw, but now I don't. Now I love its color. In fact, it is one of my favorite things about pawpaws, or in Swahili, pai pai. Can we trust ourselves, not to change, not to betray ourselves, not to forget ourselves and leave ourselves behind? If our tastes so easily change on simple things like liking donuts or not, liking pai pai or not, then can we really trust ourselves to like things and make choices when the choices ripple like water waves, causing our futures to be so much more different than we could ever imagine? I've read all the way to page 98. A butterfly flapped its wings in Brazil, causing a tornado in the States. So yes, my argument about a donut affecting my future in unimaginable ways is very valid. It is a dangerous thing to not trust someone who is near to you, in heart and in proximity, because then you live in fear that they can stab you in the back, both literally and figuratively, and leave your heart broken, both literally and figuratively. It is an even more dangerous thing to not trust someone who is not just too close to you, but you. Someone who lives in you, breathes in you, has access to your thoughts, words, deeds, occasional gassy bathroom visits, and even your life. It is a terribly dangerous thing to not trust oneself. Pastry shops are meant for pastries, not rocks, metal, or bad donuts. I know just a few pastry shops, in fact, few enough to count on one hand and have enough fingers to play a triad, which, in case you're not musically inclined, means 3 fingers. And of these few pastry shops, none sell bad donuts. None sell donuts at all now that I think about it, which is actually pretty odd for a pastry shop. It's almost like having a tool shop that doesn't sell a hammer, one of the most basic tools. This is the most peaceful area I have walked to ever since I started exploring the area that I live in more. And it's also a really long route. I've not even gotten to the end of it. I'm already coming back because it's gonna be a really long distance if I decide to keep going. And also majorly because the route now ends and it's sort of a road where there's shops and people, which is it's not like my ideal walking environment. But over on these sides, I really enjoy walking on these sides because there's no one. Fancy me saying there's no one, then someone jumps out of the bush. but it's just so peaceful, you know. I've had a really peaceful day. I undid my hair for a video, and tomorrow I'm finally just going to get my hair done. I don't know why, but living in a place that's kind of close to town but also has this really rural feel, like the surroundings are just very rural. It reminds me so much of my home county, which, you know, is very rural, and it gives me a sort of home feel to just walk around these areas despite being a few meters away from my house, which is not, you know, is not my home county. So it feels so nice. It feels very nostalgic in a way to just have a rural setting near me. I also just kind of like the fact that there's usually no one around, and since I've been craving like a really peaceful environment, this sort of seals the deal. It kind of satisfies that need I've been having. I recently visited a new pastry shop. It did sell hammers, 3 kinds: vermicelli, coconut, and chocolate. So, being the explorer I am, I picked the one with the most complicated name, vermicelli. Let me tell you a short story about an interaction between a current version of me and a past version of me. Current me went to a pastry shop and bought a hammer, a vermicelli donut. She had chosen the best pastry shop in town, which she had never bought pastries from before. She was buying a donut, a vermicelli donut, for past me. She came back home, she knocked on the door, and gave past me the donut, the vermicelli donut. Past me scowled and stared at future me. "I hate donuts," said past me. "But I like donuts," said future me, both at the same time. But as I am narrating this story, it's kinda hard to say the two phrases simultaneously, but I expect it sounded something like, "But I like donuts." Past me couldn't trust current me to make choices for her. And who between the two is me? Do I like or hate donuts? Can I trust myself if every version of me seems so different from the last? Will future me still like donuts? Who is this me? Oh my god! Oh my god! Usidunge imevutwa because of lack of air. Oh my goodness, it's such a perfect. Look at those little things. That's me. It's yeast, girl. That's cute. Oh my goodness. Where did you put yeast? Did you put yeast? No, the yeast is forming. It's literally pulled this cling film down inside like a. Do you see that? No, it's not even really visible. Wow, so there's so much lack of air inside here. Allow the gas to go away. These are not harmful. I can just strain them out. I can just pick them out and then the rest should be okay because the brine is above the sauerkraut still. Is the me that is speaking now different from the me that filmed this whole film? Is the me who just said film different from the me who just said? Oh dear, I'm in a pickle. For a wise lady once said, it is a terribly dangerous thing to not trust oneself. It's time for us to actually taste this. It looks good. It smells like wine in a way, and I think that's how it's supposed to actually smell. So let's give it a good taste. It also, the color looks okay, even though there were a bit of yeast bacteria living on top of the whole solution. I think it still works because I did a little research and the yeast is supposed to be there. The yeast is safe to eat, but some other types of bacteria are not. So let's taste it. That's how it looks. Okay. I'm kind of scared. Okay. That is a very confusing taste. It's salty, very salty, but it has a kick. Like when you chew it, you feel it hit your tongue in a way. It has a tang or something, but it's actually good, I think, because I don't know how it's supposed to taste actually. But I can get why someone would want to just get a scoop of this and add to food that's sort of bland. It really does add some sort of weird tang, like a tang, yeah. So for this one, I'm just going to refrigerate it. I'm going to add some more brine, and I think I made the brine a bit too salty, maybe. Yeah, I'm just going to. Oh, and these are the pickled onions and peppers. I think I already mentioned this or something. I also added garlic, so it smells very aromatic. The two versions of me stood in silence, staring at each other and then at the donut. They were dumbfounded. They had initially thought they were the same, but now they felt like strangers with familiar faces. Breakfast is served. Yay! My plate looks so nice. Look at it. It's so full of variety. And the star of the show is the sauerkraut, which I want us to try first. Not the sauerkraut, but the sauerkraut toast. I like the colors. It looks very bright and sort of radiant. Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Going for a side bite, of course. It's so good, actually. Eating toast is always a messy experience, though. It's a silly thing to not trust oneself simply because you change. Change is the one thing that is a constant part of our everyday. The sky changes, the seconds change, the plants change, the days change, the wind changes, we change. Every version of everything around us is changing, even when we don't see it, especially when we don't see it. And maybe that is why change is such a special thing, because it's so subtle, so easy to miss. My hair has grown. They feel so strong. Until you look up and don't understand why a stranger with a familiar face is offering you a donut and insisting that you like donuts when you very clearly don't. Between the two very different versions of me were many transitional versions of me, versions that were part of each other and new at the same time. Even current me is a transitional version. It's both a final version and an in-between version to some aspect of me, because I'm constantly changing. So should I worry about the donut? Should I eat it and pretend to like the taste and smell of yeast? Or should I scowl and pretend to hate the taste and smell of yeast? Who is this I? The correct answer doesn't exist. Why, you ask? Because it is constantly changing. It's not constant. To depend on it would be like hoping a feather could hold your weight, or tying a rope onto smoke. And once again, we convene at breakfast. We always seem to meet back here at this breakfast table when I'm taking breakfast. And today I'm having a bowl. I love to have bowls. Just a mixture of a lot of different things. Like I can mix the weirdest of stuff together and have it as a meal, and I don't mind, you know. Like in today's bowl, at the bottom, I have rice. a little rice. Then I made like a vegetable stir fry which has broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, green capsicum, onions and tomatoes. Then I have some stew, some peas stew from last night, which has some potatoes, and then I have cabbage, then I have an avocado, and then I have a boiled egg. And something I've been loving to do with my boiled egg is to not soak it, but rather cut it up and then drip some soy sauce on the yolk. The yolk tastes so good when it has soy sauce, and then you add just a pinch of salt, and it's so good. Concerning the sauerkraut, yesterday I had a spoonful of sauerkraut in my breakfast, in my lunch, and in my supper. And at the end of the day, I was feeling pretty bloated and gassy, and I was like, why? So I decided to Google, and apparently, because your gut is not yet used to sauerkraut and the probiotic bacteria, you're not supposed to take 3 tablespoons in a day. You're supposed to actually start small with something like a tablespoon for a day, and then you slowly increase. And me, as the know-it-all, I took a whole 3 tablespoons, one in each meal, and at the end of the day I was so bloated. Not bloated really, but I had a lot of gas. But at the same time, it was easy to, like, my this is getting weird, but it was not that the gas was stuck, and I was not really bloated in a way that I can't, pass poop could pass. That was very awkward. Anyways, this morning I happened upon this book. It's called Atticus. I bought it a while back. This is one of the many books I buy on the street in Nairobi, and then I don't read them. I just open, I read the first 2 pages or something, then I say, it's a boring book, I put it aside. It's exactly what I did with this book, Herald of Joy, which I am currently eating up. I'm really enjoying it. I'm currently on page 116, but it has like 500 and something pages, so I can't say I'm really close. It has 505. So I found this other one, and I'm sort of excited to finish this, to get started on this. But the way in which I was reading this was like very slow, just slowly, and adding a lot of annotations, trying not to rush the book. So I guess we might get to this like a while later, which is fine. Anyways, my food is getting cold. I have been trying to remind myself how it feels to just to do stuff without being distracted by my phone or the laptop. And for a while I had actually gotten so good at doing stuff without distractions, but now it seems as if I'm back to that position where whenever I'm eating, whenever I'm doing anything, I just go on YouTube and scroll and look for a video to watch, or I get a series and I start to watch a series, because I don't really have a series that I'm currently hooked on. So I literally start a movie and I don't even finish it because I just wanted something for the time that I'm eating. And so I'm gonna try and remind myself how it just feels to not be constantly distracted and stimulated all the time. I've also got this new weird obsession of cutting my carrots into flat, thin strips so that when I eat the carrot, I can actually bite the carrot multiple times. And I don't like to cook the carrot too much. Oh, I also added okra. And I don't know if I'm the only one who, oh my god, I hate okra, but I still take it because of its digestive pluses or points. But I hate how slimy it is. Like, literally, I think it makes me find it hard to chew food when food is so slippery in your mouth. So I'd rather take it separately than mixed with stuff. The I is all the versions of you that have been, will be, and are. You are everything you will ever be, ever were, and are right now. Right now. That's why you have hopes and dreams and visions for the future, because some future part of you already exists within you. That's why you have memories and nostalgia for the past, because some past part of you still lives on in you. I don't know if I'm getting a caffeine addiction because I've started to actually notice whenever I wake up and I don't take a cup of coffee with my breakfast, then around mid morning or around noon, something like right now, I feel very tired and fatigued and foggy. I don't know if that's a caffeine addiction because if I think about it, on the days when I take coffee, I don't feel like this. But today, I just took my breakfast with water, and around noon, I was just feeling very tired and foggy because I don't feel like sitting somewhere, I just want to lie down. So I am editing, but in bed. There's this movie I was once watching, and it was about a rich lady, and in her house, she had like this sort of smart house system where the windows, like whenever she wanted to sleep, the windows and any opening which let in light was covered with a thick black barrier. And literally, it could be the sunniest day at the sunniest hour, and she could just make her room pitch black and fall asleep as if it's 12 midnight, you know? And I was thinking how important that is, like the lack of light. Being in pitch darkness is so important for quality sleep, I think. You sleep and you wake up when you're done sleeping, you know? But at the same time, if I was to have such a situation, I think I might end up sleeping for something like 14 hours, and then like more than half of my day is gone. So they could never ban donuts because that would erase the version of you that was to come to love donuts. Maybe the present exists to keep the future and the past alive till the future becomes the present and the present becomes the past. Heading to the salon. Good morning. I'm not wasting a good outfit, so we have the outfit that I was supposed to wear last time when I was supposed to go out, but my plans ended up flopping. Let's go. A wise lady once said, "It is a terrible thing to not trust oneself." And now I agree, for that lady was a past version of me, albeit just 3 minutes past and counting. And if I never trusted her, I wouldn't exist now as I am, when the future has become the present nostalgic me, and the present has become the past wise me. I currently want to head over to KCC, which is right there. And maybe sometimes these past and future versions of ourselves that live inside us peek out. They show themselves, and suddenly the donut doesn't taste as good as it usually does. I'm so tired, I'm so hot, I'm so sweaty. I just got back. I don't know why, whenever I put braids for the first day, I usually just feel as if I've made the wrong decision and I absolutely hate the hairstyle. But today I don't feel that way. Like, I feel like I've made a decision, I've made a mistake, but I don't feel like I hate the hairstyle completely. I got myself a treat from Creamy Inn. Most of the chocolate is already melted off though. Why is the skin so tough? Like, why is it so tough? I expected this to be one of the best things I'll ever take in my life, but it's so tough. It's literally so hard to pull. And on the inside, It's not as soft as you'd expect. You know what? Right now, what I want the most is something savory. I'm just so tired. Honestly, this donut was so disappointing. Or the pastry shop just happens to be in the unlucky few which just sell bad donuts. I guess we'll never know. So, current me smiled at past me, and past me smiled at current me, and they both said, "It's okay. I halik donuts."